out. So we are here for the third episode in our Calm the Fuck Down with Ron Friedman webinar series. I still am really psyched that we named it that. And we are joined by none other than Sang Lucci. Lucci, say what up.
What's going on, everybody?
And of course, Ron Friedman, who is a staple of this whole series because we are doing it as part of the lead up to the launch of the live course for Trading the Post, which is Ron's methodology that launches on March 7th. I'll have some more information for you all on that later on. If you missed the first two episodes in this series, definitely go to the Sang Lucci YouTube channel. Check those out. Those are great conversations with Ronch. If you hear me, if you're new to all this and you hear me referring to Ron as Ronch, as Ronchero, Ron, it's all the same person. The white dude on your screen. That is not me. That is Ron.
Pasty pink white dude.
So yeah, I mean, what we're here talking about today is trading options, as we call it in the title, trading options in the new market paradigm, right? So if you talk to traders now, relentlessly what you hear is that options trading has changed in the past 2 years or so. It's just that markets are different, things are different. A lot of what used to work doesn't work as much anymore. And no two better people to come together and talk about this subject and hopefully drop some knowledge for you all than Ronch and Lucci. So Luch, let's start out with I know you've been spending a lot more time in the Trading the Post rooms recently.
Oh yeah.
How's that been? What's that been like?
It's definitely a lot more focused. It's definitely a lot more focused, less noise. That's right off the bat. I probably brought in a good amount of noise myself. Shit.
Wherever you go.
Yeah. I'm definitely a noisy guy. I'm trying to work on that, I think. But yeah, other than that, I mean, Ron keeps it super, super focused, and he's always shouting out technical levels for people to watch for, just always reminding people of levels to pay attention to tape too. And then a lot of it is just, again, keeping it less noisy requires work. I mean, it does require work. You have to, number one, be less noisy, but you also have to call out some people and tell them to calm the fuck down, so there's a lot of that in there as well too.
That's what he does so well.
Right. And especially with this market. I mean, come on. I mean, I don't even know if we're going to even talk about today, but last night, I don't know if any of you guys watched the futures, but that was the most insane shit I've seen since Donald Trump got elected. I haven't seen, and it continued into today. Like, the ranges are insane.
Big range.
And it's so difficult to not be emotional about this shit, especially if you're an options trader too, because you're seeing options go 10x every second. Every second you're seeing some program run and some option that's about to expire go 10x, 20x, 30x on you. So it's difficult to calm the fuck down right now. It really is.
Yeah, so that leads me exactly into what I wanted to talk about, what I want to start out with. So Luch, you're talking, a lot of what you're describing is what everybody points to is what's changed, in the markets now. Like how are you, I mean, let me start with this. What do you think you need to be good at now that maybe wasn't as important 5 years ago in order to be able to trade and stay afloat in these markets?
Man, it's like the letting go, man. You just have to be fast. You have to be faster. You really have to be faster. Or instead of being faster, if you're gonna get run over, like Ronchero teaches you how to like morph and how to put on hedges. So you just have to be faster to number one, take profit. That has to be there. And then number two, hedge or be able to let go of your bias. Right now, any bias in any direction, will really get you hurt. Especially if you're trading options. If you're trading options, which most of us are, I'm assuming most of the people who are here are. So you got to let that shit go. In markets before this, you could have a bias for a good amount of time. You really could hold on to something. You could really work into that position. And I'm not saying you can't now. I'm just saying, what are you going to do in the face of a 100-handle rally or a 100-point rally? Like there's way less margin for error right now. This is way less. That's what I'd say.
Ronch, what do you think?
I agree with what Lucci's saying. I think the speed at which things are happening compared to even just a few years ago is much more dramatic. I think the amount of dollars that go into any one particular trade at any one particular time are very large amounts, and like those numbers used to be shocking. Like if you saw a $6 million order come in on a weekly SPY option, you'd be like, damn. And
Yeah.
now you look at it and you're like, okay, well, fine, that was $6 million. Let me know when that line works up to 25 million, and right.
Right.
So there's that aspect of it too. And then for us, depending upon what your time frame is, or what your sweet spot is as a trader, you really have to be, in my opinion, and a lot of the guys in our room will tell you, very, very patient and deliberate about areas for seeking change in tape and being ahead of sweeps or smart money. Like today we did that on Nike, and we caught the trigger. We were right on the money, and right after we placed the trade, sweeps came in, right? So like you've got to find those spots, and if you can do that, you can still have edge. But it is a much faster game now for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Picking your spots, being able to let go of biases much faster. I mean, Ronch, like one of the things that someone was actually emailing us the other day talking about like things that you've helped them with a lot. And, he was saying that, trading the short side against a long position to protect against it, to get it paid for. I mean, do you feel like your ability to essentially be on both sides of a trade for longer, and just like use options in order to set up the trade optimally for that, allows you to navigate markets like this that are just when the speed and the size of these moves is just so insane?
Yeah, I also think that having being able to combine a big picture view with a smaller picture trading time frame is essential, because you can get fooled quite easily into thinking, oh, this is the spot where we turn and we go higher, but yet you're still in the face of a trend that's down, and you make the mistake of, like what Lucci's talking about, is getting biased, and you hang around too long. And if you hang around too long and it starts going the other way, all of a sudden what you had was a really nice profit is either all gone or you're red in a really short period of time.
Yeah. And then those programs will run eerily. They will run exactly when he's talking about. And if you get stuck in one of those in an option, you're 50% down, 60% down, like that. It doesn't matter. You could be in a Friday option. You could be in next week's. You could be in the week after that. You're down that much, and the market maker has to move. They'll cut that spread out. They'll cut that spread out immediately once they see the programs run.
Yep.
And you, Mister, I'm sitting here holding my 10 lot. If you can't anticipate it, or you're not quick to even just get out there, break even, they're gonna make you pay. They're gonna make you pay for it.
Yeah, you will not have a good day.
So, Luch, I mean, you guys are so different. You guys have a lot of the same skill sets, in part because, Ronch, you learned tape from Lucci. Lucci, you've learned a lot, from Ronch. But you guys are very different traders, like temperamentally,
extremely different.
Your risk appetite, like your like kind of psychological profile. So, I mean, Luch, are you like, how much of what Ronch is talking about, how he's trading differently, you being in the TTP rooms more, like how much are you adjusting your approach these days, like more to be more in line?
To be honest, because of the market that we kind of got stuck in, not much. Like I'm looking to, like I was looking to incorporate a lot of what he does on the swing basis, but it's tough to swing in this market. Like even if you swing short right now, it's with an option, it's tough to find those spots. It's even tough to look at levels in such a wide range that we are right now. So I'm still where I'm at. I'm scalping a lot more, and once this volatility cuts down, then I think I'll really adopt some of the principles that Ranchero talks about in the course. But again, because of the market that we're in right now and how volatile it is,
Right.
I've had to go back to what I do.
Right. Yep. And for you right now, that is scalping. That's just keeping your time frame super
Right
small,
now,
super
yeah,
short. Yeah.
keeping it tight. But again, like the overall sentiment is bearish as fuck. And and you know me, man. Like if I can catch 100 points on Amazon heavy, I'm gonna go for it. If I can pick a spot, if I can pick that right spot. There was a day yesterday, Ron Chiro, I don't know if you saw, no, not yesterday. It was Friday. Friday, Nvidia had like a 10-point rally off the open. It hit like 250. And I was sitting there with the boys here at the office, and I'm yelling out. I'm like, you need to short this right. Somebody short this right now. And I queue it up. Boom, the thing goes down 5 like in a second, and then another program down another 5. And the option that I saw went from $1 to $10 in maybe 5 minutes. And I'm yelling at everybody here in the office, like, please tell me somebody fucking took that. So those are the kind of trades that I'll sit there and fish around for. So if I find something, I'm in there heavy. I'm doing what I do.
Right. Right. I mean, one of the things that we've talked about, like in the rooms and stuff like that you have to be way better at these days is flipping direction. And you two are definitely put on a pedestal in our community as being like the two of the best who can just go both directions. You're sitting down. Imagine you're sitting down, you're talking to some like young prop trader who's been at it for a year, and he's just like, I can't do it. What do you guys say to that young trader? Like, how do you develop that ability?
I'd say go get me some coffee.
It's a tough thing. It's a tough, what Ron Chiro is really saying there. And again, like we know each other this well, like we've worked with each other this well. It's like, it's a long process to work that out of you. It's not just a technical thing. We're talking about a psychological thing. It could take years. We're talking about years of programming. So he don't need coffee. You need a whole damn course to sit down with some of these people to get them to see that part of it. But not only do they have to see it, they have to do it. They have to do it, and they have to feel it, because whatever the bias that they're used to holding on to something, that's what they're going to do until they get hurt enough, unfortunately.
Yeah. That does happen. Those are some of the things that I like to to work on in the trading the post room, like today. And it's serendipitous timing. And there are guys in the chat here that are in the TTP room that have been in TTP for a while. I haven't seen a day where the traders in the TTP room traded as well as they have today. Like they
look at that.
Killed it today. They killed it today. And it's all, so much of it is based around hey, I've got my foot in on something, right? Let's say, because there are some discounts out there, right? So there are some things that are attractive to buy, even though the market and the sentiment and the chart tells you, whatever it is still in a downtrend, because we can trade around it. It doesn't matter. Once we get it paid for and it becomes, let's say, a piggy bank, and we're just writing against it, or we're trading short-term puts against it, it doesn't matter. We get to sit in that long-term position, and it doesn't fuck with our heads, right? So that's part of being able to calm the fuck down. And when Lucci's in the room, and I would say maybe 2 days a month where I am in sync with what he's doing on a scalp basis. And like, we can be lockstep. Like we've had a lot of days where we're lockstep and we're trading the same thing, and everybody else in the room gets to feed off of that too. And those are great days. They don't always line up because we're different, but they do line up.
Are you guys coming to those trades for, like, Lucci, you're looking at tape, obviously primarily. Ron, you're looking a little bit at tape, but you're looking at a lot of other stuff, as we've discussed. So yes. Are you guys coming to those same trades from different avenues?
Oh yeah. His levels are also places that I'll look at anyway, just because they're levels of activity where, tape got all, I don't know what the word is, but the levels of activity where you have to pay attention to, Whether
Mhm.
you're a technical trader or a tape guy, everybody comes back and looks at these same levels. So
I mean, it's symbiont, because if I'm in there and I'm looking at something at a specific level, and I think when it gets to that level, it's either going to trigger up or down. I'm like, hey, I see this, and Lucci's like, yeah, I see it on tape, and I'm like, fuck it,
yep.
go, like we're in,
Right.
and then
Right.
and then we're on the button and we're on the trigger.
Absolutely. 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 So those
Right.
things will definitely happen. And again, we're all trading similar names and everything. So
Right.
it happens. It happens. And when it does happen, that's some confluence that's really powerful.
Yeah, it's nice when that
It'd be
happens.
nice. It'd be nice if we find a way to program it, but
It'd be nice if we could get it every day too.
yeah.
We're working on it. We're working on some shit. So okay, so we're talking going back to this idea of like being able to flip directions. I'm fascinated by this, obviously, because some of it is psychological. You know, you got people like Jesus, like Wall Street Jesus, who's just like, I can't do it. He's obviously an incredible trader. He's been doing it for forever, but he's just like, I can't do it. It's not how I work. I mean, and I think you guys are basically saying, I'm reading between the lines here, but you guys are saying you do it for different reasons. Lucci, my sense is that you would say you're able to do it because you live and die by the tape, and you just tape is what dictates your behavior, what you do, and that's it.
Yeah.
Right.
Like today, I was short Amazon into the afternoon, and then it got stuck somewhere. And SPY dropped another 2 points, and Amazon went nowhere. And I'm starting to be like, all right, what gives here? Soon as I saw that program hits from the low, we start rallying, and I'm like, all right, cut it, go. And then a giant program just took this thing right back up 50 points in the other direction. Had I not bailed at that moment, you know what I mean? Had I not had that feeling, that instinct, and been watching that tape, my option went from, I don't know, $41 to $28 in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah. And for you, would you say that the more it's gotten easier to do as time's gone on because you have that like muscle memory?
you're talking to guys who have just been through disgusting places and don't want to go back there. So we've seen it enough times. So you're talking to guys, me, Ranchero, and Wall Street Jesus are guys who know what we're good at, what we need to do. We've worked on it so many times. You know, you're talking to guys who have accepted who they are. You know, and when you sit in a chat room with a bunch of traders, 90% of them have not accepted who they are. They have no clue. They have no clue who they are in trading, let alone real life. And trading becomes their path of finding who they are. You know, and it takes a while to get there. Sorry to say, it takes a while to get there.
Yeah, everybody has their own time frame too. Some people get there faster, some people get there slower.
Absolutely.
And you've got to be able to be okay with whatever your time frame is. Like it's if people around you are doing well and you're like, shit, I've been in here as long as this guy and I'm still not on that pace, you have to be able to give yourself the mental space to say it's okay, or you're going to blow yourself out.
Yeah. It's sad because for example, my writing strategy since 2017, 2018 to 2020 or 2021, I made millions off that freaking strategy. And it literally just folded over on top of itself in the last 4 or 5 months. You can't write a damn option out here and come out alive. So what are you going to do? It's those moments where you have to look at the strategy and be like, this shit ain't working right now. 90% of traders who have seen something that is working, they're not going to be able to do that because they haven't felt the pain yet and they haven't felt the need to have to do it yet. So now all of a sudden you have to do it. You're attached to what's been working for you. It takes a while to work that out. So again, some people it's quicker, other people not so much.
Yeah, and for me that ties back to, you know, my original options training was, my mentor was a market maker in Philly, right? So I learned that stocks and like Katie will laugh at me all day about this, but I don't care because it works for me and it's teachable and it works for other people. Stocks come back to levels again and again. Understanding trend and understanding those areas of where the stocks gravitate to and from are confirmed by looking at tape. So, you know, when you combine these things, the combination gives you edge, and that's what you're looking for. You need to have some kind of edge if you're going to have success and not just tread water or lose money.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think for you, Ranch, when you talk about like part of what's allowed you, given you the ability to flip direction as well as you have, you guys are talking about, you got to know yourself, know what works for you. Ranch, you found this way to have these hacks that you have helped people in Trading the Post do as well, where you just get one part of a position to pay for the other part of a position.
Yeah.
And for you, that's just like, I have license. It takes all the pressure off, it seems like.
100%. Because if my thesis is I want to be long something and I do it with time and I outlay a certain amount of capital and then I trade around it short term and it pays for that capital outlay that I have in my long-term thesis, I'm less likely to have a knee-jerk reaction on a bad day and close that position prematurely. It's going to allow me to stay in the position to see it through with what my original thesis was. And so many people will get trapped and be like, you know what, it's not working, or they continually buy it at the wrong spot and it goes, it goes up or it goes down against them. And they're like, okay, this doesn't work. And it's because they're not applying the process in the right way. And they haven't figured it out.
That strategy that Ranchero has, it also indirectly allows you to get comfortable being on both sides. If that's not where you came from to begin with, that you start incorporating some of the stuff that Ranchero teaches in the course, indirectly it's going to solve it. It will solve that issue. Naturally speaking, it will solve that issue.
Explain that a little bit more, Luch. How do you think it solves the issue?
Right. So if you're, let's say you have an idea on a long or a short, right? And number one, you need the technical skills on understanding which option to go for and how much time you need and what levels you should buy and all that kind of stuff, which Ranchero will teach you. But then, being able to pay for it over time by using tape and scalping and understanding, just kind of quick hits and intraday levels and things like that, you're now unattached from your longer term idea, not unattached for it. That's still your idea, but now you're automatically trading on the other side, whether it's a hedge or whether it's just a quick scalp. And that indirectly solves your issue of just being able to just look at things from a one-sided perspective. Like you're already indirectly doing it. So, you do that enough times, extrapolate it out, and you should be good to go.
Yeah.
It offers so much flexibility too, because even if you think, okay, I have this long-term idea, but I'm not ready to get in the long-term idea, but I want to trade short-term around the long-term idea without a position, it allows you to do that. Like there's so many different ways to make it fit who you are as a trader. You just have to understand what the different angles are and how to look at it and how to apply whatever angle that you're looking at. That's a big key to the whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the kind of thing that, to me, you explain that to a non-trader, to an outsider, and they're like, I just don't fucking get it. It's just money. It's all money, right? Like you made $10 here. Why does that affect, the other position over here? But for you guys, it's just a perfect example of understanding, having enough reps to understand yourself and understand your own psychology. Cause you're like, this position paid for itself. My perspective on it is completely different than if I hadn't done this. Yeah.
Some people just need the reps, but not only that, a little coaching and a little guidance on those reps too goes a long way. You know what I mean? I've been going to the gym for years doing the same damn thing. I got the same body as I started out with. You know what I mean? It's what are we doing out here? You know what I mean? Do you want to accomplish something, or do you want to maintain where you're at? Some things, especially trading here, nobody wants to maintain where they're at. That's not why we're here doing this. You know what I mean? So, yeah, you need the reps, but a little coaching and guidance could go a long way here.
Yeah, for sure. Which for a lot of traders is a tough pill to swallow, because they're all anti-authoritarian. I'm going to go do this shit myself. No one's going to tell me what to do. That's what attracted them to trading in the first place. So if they have to go get help from somewhere, they're like, nah, this is anathema to who I am. This is not.
That's fine. I can cut 5 to 10 years off of your curve, but if you don't want to do that, that's okay.
Speaking from a guy who took a bit of time to get to where he wanted to be. So Ranch is not He's not taking shots at anybody there. I think another thing that you guys have also been hitting on is like in these markets, in the way that things move now, you just have to be able to like skin the cat in different ways. You got to have a lot of different tools in your toolbox. Like Ron, you sometimes refer to trading the post. You know, we put it out there as like, yeah, it's, you're going to learn this methodology, you're going to learn this approach, but we talk about it sometimes as four services in one, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
it's not static, right? Like you have to have a handful of strategies that you know and understand, but you also have to understand when it's appropriate to apply the strategy. You can't go to the market and say, this is my strategy and here's what I'm going to do, because the market don't care.
Yeah.
You have to read what the market is doing and apply the correct strategy. It doesn't work the other way. The tail doesn't wag the dog.
And Lucci was just talking about writing options, you know, for the way that you were writing them, Lucci, for years was just like printing easy money. The last 4 or 5 months, it's been a kick to the nuts. I mean, Rancho, what do you think has been working best for you guys in the past couple of months?
See, like, so the way that Lucci writes in this market doesn't work for him. We've been writing our asses off and we've been killing it. Today, we crushed it with writes.
Yeah.
And we had some nice scalps too. I mean, but the writes were fire today. The implied volatility was all jacked up. The stocks were right at spots where we saw technically that they should be having some kind of change in tape. They did. We wrote, they sucked the IV out of the trade, and we freaking made 70% on all of our writes today.
Amazing. But again, he ain't holding those for a week. You know what I mean? So my strategy and the way that I write them, that shit ain't working. It ain't working. But you sell that juiced up volatility on some of these program moves, and that's where you got your game.
Yeah.
That's where you got your game. And again, all adjusting. So it's very dynamic, you know, and the courses change with the times too. We've no one course that we've offered is the same as the last one. None.
Right. Correct.
Not one.
Yeah. And that's one of the reasons why we do these things live, and why we update them, is because what worked, you know, a year ago, like, might not work now. We got to update. It's our responsibility to be, you know, on point and up to date on that. So that's one of the reasons why we do them live. Yeah. Sorry, Rancho, were you about to say something? I cut you off.
Oh, no,
you're good.
I'm good.
All right. I think we probably got a lot, like having you two sitting here, being able to answer questions from people. I think we're going to have a good number of questions from the audience in terms of what people want to hear. So I want to open it up to Q&A, give people a chance to ask you guys some questions. While you guys are generating some of those and dropping them in, I will do a quick pitch for the new Trading the Post course. You can go to tradingthepost.com. Check it out, register, sign up. We are doing a special right now. You get $250 off if you use the coupon code course TTP 250. And I'll put that in the chat, course TTP 250. And basically what we're offering is twofold, right? You're going to get live classes with Ranchero. He's going to teach you how to trade options. He's going to teach you everything that he does to be so effective in the Trading the Post rooms that have made them such a success, you know, since we launched 2 years ago. And then you're going to get 3 months of access to his rooms, complimentary. So it's like a pretty insane deal. We're doing a money back guarantee. If after the classes and the 3 months in the room, you're not satisfied, money back. No questions asked. So we're really stacking this up to make it kind of a no-brainer. If this is this sort of process-based approach is something that you're attracted to, and you've been listening to Ranch talk and looking at him and being like, I don't think this guy's full of shit. I think I would take a risk on trusting him a little bit, then it's worth giving a try. So like we said, the live classes start March 7th. You get 3 months of access to the rooms. But if you sign up now, you're going to get free access to the rooms up until March 7th. That's just extra gravy added on. And then your 3 months start. So there's no reason to wait. Another thing I want to plug here too is that we're going to do live trading sessions with Ranch this coming Friday morning and the following Friday morning, which is a pretty special deal. We don't usually open those up to the public. You know, that's usually a members only thing, and you guys can sign up for those. All you got to do is be on the Trading the Post email list, and you can get on there if you go to tradingthepost.com/email. I'll drop that in the chat. That's an easy way for you guys to get a free invite to the these live trading sessions. Ron starts out right off the open. He's on Zoom. He's, you can see his screen, you can hear what he's saying. And, if you want to learn how to calm the fuck down and trade like a pro alongside somebody, just listen to what this guy is doing and hear what he's saying as he trades off the open on a Friday. It's a pretty awesome experience. So, that's the pitch. Go check out tradingthepost.com. You can always email us, contact@sanglucci.com with any questions. And let's get some questions in the Q&A. What do we got here? Is there any routine or ritual you do on a day-to-day basis to prepare for the day? Ron, to start with you.
I get out of bed and I rip as many bong hits as I possibly can before I get to the desk. Now,
if you can feel your legs, then you're doing something wrong, basically, is what you're saying.
I mean, my routine is pretty straightforward. I wake up at about and I'm on the West Coast. I'm a PST time zone, so I wake up much later than most people on the East Coast do. So I usually am up around 5:30. My routine is I go downstairs, I grab a thermos full of a cold beverage, and then I grab a coffee cup and I have a hot beverage, and I grab a protein bar, and I come upstairs, I read the news. By that, I mean, I scan the headlines, then I go and look at the ES and what it's done overnight on a big time frame, then work down to the small time frame, get some ideas, write a few tickers down that I'm interested in. And then I poke my head in the room. I look around and see, like, if Lucci's in there and he's got his eyes on something, I'll scan that. And then at 6 o'clock PST, I get on the mic and do a morning briefing of what I see, what I'm looking for. And then that gets pushed out to the room, and then we start trading. And on the days that I live trade, what I normally will do is instead of starting at 6, I'll do that morning brief, and then I'll get back on the mic at like 6:20, and I'll typically trade for the morning session is usually an hour and a half, depending upon how busy it is. I like to get a break during the middle of the day because there's a lot of fatigue that happens between lunchtime and when they come back from lunch. So I like to give myself a break and then come back to the end of the day and see if there's more for me to take advantage of at the end of the day. So that's kind of my routine from start to the end. And then once 1 o'clock comes around on PST, I've got to get some exercise in, or I'm highly likely to kill somebody at the gas station, just filling my car up or whatever. So that's my usual day.
Luch, do you have routine at all these days? I feel like you probably have a week of routine, and then you're like, it's out the window. You're doing something completely different.
Yeah. Like, I have so much going on sometimes. Like, I get thrown off of routines all the time. But routine is super important, guys. I mean, some of my best days, I wake up, I meditate for 10, 20 minutes, read a chapter in a book. I'll work out. I'll do like a home workout, or I'll hit the gym with Francia and the guys here. And then by the time I get to the office, you feel like $1 million, man. You feel like $1 million. You feel ready to go. So it's very important to get in the right mindset. Whatever that means for you, you got to find that place, because let's say you're going through a drawdown, right? You're going through a drawdown. Every day you wake up, number one, you don't want to do those things. And then number two, when you hit the desk, you still have that the energy is, how do I solve this problem here? And the problem is it's that you're coming to the market to solve this problem. That's just not how it works. And it's always reverse of what you think, of what you think you should be doing. It's the energy that you're coming to the market with that you need to control. So what does that mean? That means yourself, dumbass. It's you know what I mean? Stop eating fucking Lucky Charms 8 times a day. You know what I mean? You gotta, don't go home and eat the depression food. You know what I'm saying? Like,
hey, what's your favorite marshmallow in Lucky Charms?
I don't know. I never looked at it that way. It was just marshmallows. So it was like,
I never distinguished between them. I was like, they're all just marshmallows.
I mean, I know they got rainbows and hats and shit.
Yeah, I like the little rainbows.
But now, post-COVID, man, every like 50-year-old ass brand that has been around forever, like any brand that makes rice, Gatorade, chips, they've come out with 90 new flavors like since post COVID. During COVID, that was it. It was like flavor time for 50-year-old booty ass Pepsi companies that would just have the same product and they'd be coasting on the same product for years. They all came out with God knows what flavor. So you don't even know what
Dude,
marshmallows you're getting anymore, bro.
I had like
You
I
don't
had a
even know.
Gatorade with cucumber and
That's what I'm
something else in
saying,
it.
man.
It was good too.
That's what I'm saying, man. Give me lemon lime. What happened? What happened?
Do you guys know that you could bet on the color of the Gatorade that they throw on the coach who wins the Super Bowl? You know, you can bet on that.
Prop bets, baby.
Of
Prop bets.
course.
That's where you're gonna get.
Anything.
That's fucking America.
You gotta
Is such an amazing country. My
You gotta.
God.
You haven't even looked at crypto, son.
I know.
You haven't
I
even
know.
looked at crypto, son.
Lucci.
Like if you knew the plethora of things that you could bet on, good Lord.
I had a really interesting conversation I'll share with you later, Lucci, with somebody at the C level who left a notable company to go to a startup that is focusing on NFTs. And
Yeah,
it's a
that's-
wild freaking story, dude. And it's
that's
like
the new thing.
It's like it's like Web 3.0. And if we find the right combination, oh boy. Oh boy.
Dude, you guys, Lucci's coming on Misfit Happy Hour tomorrow, right? You're gonna make an appearance?
You guys should. Yeah, that'll definitely be a different vibe. So we'll talk
Yeah,
about all that kind of stuff
We
over
should
there.
talk about that shit.
So again, for the routine, you guys just figure out what makes you feel good, and what makes you feel positive, what makes you feel powerful, what makes you feel strong and confident. You know what I mean? Like foster those kind of emotions, whatever it is, routine that you're doing. You know, if at any time you're thinking weakness, which is, which is most of us, there's a lot of times when you're going through some struggles or whatever, you can't bring that to the market because the market will show you in ways that you can't process yet, and you're not going to admit that, hey, it was your ass to begin with, but
that comes and you know what, that's something because I still do that today. There's ways that I strategically handle that. I teach you that
exactly
technique as well. And you know, one of those things is I'm a pro at top ticking shit all of the time and at the wrong level. So, one of the things I do is I float a teaser trade out there. And if it's wrong, boom, I can go the other way because I know that I've top ticked it.
Yeah. But again, to promote, this is kind of like a promotion or whatever, but it's just being real. Like Ranchero has developed a strategy because he has sat through so much fucking pain. And that in order to solve these issues over time, we're talking about over time, like you need to account for all these things. So if your strategy itself accounts for emotional pitfalls in prices or whatever it is, then you can start factoring some of that out versus having to deal with it like myself or like a lot of other people, which is, you're trying to force something, which that shit ain't gonna work.
We got another question here. How do you guys determine the market environment that you're facing, and then how do you adopt? That's kind of two questions, but maybe start with that. Like, how do you determine the market environment that you're facing?
I mean, are we going to give the asshole version of this or just the
whatever version feels natural to you at the moment?
I mean, it's like you're looking at it, you know what I'm saying? You look at the market every day, and if you've seen enough cycles, you'll be like, all right, we're consolidating right now. We're not doing anything. Where everybody's a buyer at dips, so, we're in the long trend. Or ridiculous buy programs faced by nice, slow selling. All right, we're in a bear market here. And then once you figure out those kind of little knickknacks, then you can build a strategy around them, So for me, like I fade some of these programs, and that's been working great for me from the scalping perspective. And then once you see some of these programs coming, I'll be able to scalp because they'll always have legs. They'll always have follow through way past what you think. So, there's great scalps in there, and then because of this environment, you also know what to throw out. Now, the question is, and what you're really asking, and this is the asshole part of the answer, what you're really asking is how to adjust, right? And if you can't adjust, well, then we're back to that same conversation we had earlier in this webinar, which was how do you get rid of the bias and how do you accept where you are? And that's a much longer conversation, so that would be my answer to that question. You guys know the easy part is figuring out what environment you're in. I mean, shit, if you've been trading for a year, you can figure that shit out. The tough part is how the fuck do you adjust to it?
Launch.
I mean, for me, I work from a big picture view to a small picture view. And if my big picture view, for example, I can identify, like Lucci was talking about, I can identify an uptrend, I can identify a downtrend, I can identify an area of consolidation. As long as I can recognize those things on a big term basis, I can use that information to help me in my short-term trades. For example, we are in a downtrend. I believe that when things pop and reach certain areas, that they have very high probability, because we're in a downtrend, of retracing. And that's what's happening right now. So if I go into a trade knowing I'm in a downtrend and I buy something looking for upside and I stay too long, or I get long and I all of a sudden change my mindset to no, everything's changing here, then I'm being an idiot, right? So I can't conflict my short-term trades with what the long-term trend is telling me what's happening. So if I can adjust to that, right, I'm going to have an increased level of probability of success.
Well said. Another question here. Where's this thing? What are some of the major edges that have disappeared in the market in the last 5 years?
Ugh. You got to talk to high frequency trading guys for this. They're the ones that have the data on the edges. You know what I mean? They're the ones that are tracking it all. You know what I mean? You're talking to guys who trade for a living and survive all day. You know what I mean? I mean, as far as what I can tell, though, a lot of edge that has disappeared. All those trend buying. I mean, the one major one right now is all that trend buying shit. Is all that trend buying shit on, all that automated trend buying stuff on the, on the tech names and all this, all the Shopify's, that whole strategy, which worked for shit, man, 6 years, 5 years, 4 years, I don't know how long. All that stuff is gone. It is gone.
Yeah,
hopefully they got their money out. Hopefully they got their money out before it went.
Yeah, because if you fight it and you still try to apply what you were applying back then, it's just not working now, and it's unlikely that it's going to work again in the same way. Things will change eventually, and we'll find an area where we regroup and start to move the other way, but it's unlikely that you'll be able to trade the same way on the way back up whenever that may happen that you did the last 6 years. It's right. I don't know what it's going to look like, but it's going to look different.
Yep. And that's something that a lot of people are not ready for. But edge, like, what does edge mean to you? I'm going to throw that question back to you. What does edge mean to you? When you say the word edge to me, it is something that is there that can be profited from over and over and over again, that always sort of exists. But when you talk to guys like me and Ron Sherrill, there's always edge given any day. Any day you put me and him in front of a screen with 20 different stocks, we'll find some edge somewhere. But the edge is not in that. It's us too. Are you patient? Are you confident? Do you execute well under pressure and blah, blah, blah. Like, for most retail traders, the edge is ourselves. There's plenty of money out there. There's plenty of money every day. There's trillions of dollars every day. Like, you can make whatever sum of money you can think of every single day in this market, especially this one right now. There's that much gain. So there's not a question of money and opportunity. The question is do you have the edge from yourself? You know what I mean? Or inside your strategy, which Ron Chera has been able to do. And he'll obviously teach you how to do it.
There you go. It's a pretty good note to end on. Y'all can check out the Trading the Post, the new course, launch on March 7th, tradingthepost.com. Again, you can get access to these live sessions with Ron for the next 2 Fridays. Just go to tradingthepost.com/email, and you can sign up for the email list, get access to those. You can use the coupon code to check out for the course, which is course TTP 250, save $250 on the course. And tomorrow, Lucci's going to join the Misfit Happy Hour. Ronchero will be on there with his co-hosts every week, Chris Cady. Completely different kind of style and structure conversation. So that should be awesome. Check that out tomorrow, everybody. Luch, thanks for being here. Ronch, as always, thanks for joining, guys.
Thanks, Charlie.
All
Thanks,
right.
Lucci.
Thanks, everybody.
Take care, everybody.
All right.
Talk soon.
Latest.